What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Decide and Design. I hope you guys enjoyed my last episode with my first guests, Kevin Palmieri and Alan Lazarus of the Next Level University podcast. Unbelievable guys. They have been mentoring me, coaching me, showing me the way, if you will. They've just really been changing my life and helping me strive for more and design my life. And that's what this show's all about. And I really hope you guys checked that episode out. If you didn't, I highly recommend it because those guys are unbelievable, next level, and they will change your life. They will change your life. So lately, I have been feeling... It feels like my rubber band is getting stretched. And what I mean by that is there's just a lot of things going on in my life right now, and it's just stressful. But it's a different kind of stress. Like before in my life, I was worried about my future. I had a lot of drugs and alcohol in my life and a lot of people in my life that really weren't best for my future. And the pain I felt back then was different than the pain I'm feeling right now. This is more of I don't want to say, it's kind of like a good pain, but it's just I'm growing as a person right now, and that can be very, just really stressful. And that's kind of what this episode is about. This episode's all about Lonely Land. I don't really know what I'm going to name it yet. I think it's going to be something like How to Get Through Lonely Land. But you probably don't know what I'm talking about when I say Lonely Land, but I'm going to explain it. So when you start out on your growth journey, you start to develop new habits, you start to develop new ideas, you put yourself in different places, and you meet new people. And what happens is you start to grow out of the old habits, ideas, places, and people that you had in your past, and you basically start to outgrow your old life. And you start creating a new life. So the best explanation I've seen is this. Basically, it's like this chart, and it's all about like your journey. And at the beginning is basically the beginning of your journey, and when you start like growing as a person, and then the end of the chart is like your new world and all your aspirations and goals and dreams. And in between that is all the growth that you have to have in order to get what you want. So the beginning of your journey is really exciting. You almost feel like you have everything figured out, which we all know that's not true, but that's what it feels like. You develop these new ideas, you have new habits, you're getting up early, you're getting after it, and everything's really exciting. You're excited for your future and your goals, and you start planning things, and all these amazing things are happening. And then you reach a point, and that's called Lonely Land. That is when you start to outgrow your old world, and you start to question yourself. You don't really fit in with your old life, but you still haven't found the life you're really looking for. And you find yourself in this place where you're questioning what you're doing. You almost want to go back to your comfort zone of your old world. And it's just a very, very painful, lonely place to be because you feel like you're trying to grab onto something and you can't. It's just like everything is messy. And a lot of people, when they get to this point, they start to that's when they start to pull back. And you see this all the time. You see people who want to go after a goal, whether it's like doing something on YouTube or starting a podcast or doing something on Instagram. It's like you see a lot of people start these like crazy adventures, and then all of a sudden it stops. And everyone wonders why, what happened to that? Like, why did they stop doing that? It's because you get stuck in this place of lonely land and you have no idea what the hell is going to happen. You don't know you basically just don't know what you're doing anymore, and you just feel lost. And I came up with this like analogy. It's like you have this big mountain and there's a tunnel that goes through the mountain, and in the beginning you have this light and you can see where you're going, and it's really exciting. You're getting on this new path and you can see everything around you. And when you start to head deeper and deeper into this tunnel, you eventually hit the darkness and the black. And that's kind of like Lonely Land. That's when you step into this place, and it's like you don't know what's going on. Like, you don't know what you're going to step on. You don't know what you're going to come across. There might be a boulder in the middle of the tunnel that you have to climb over. You just don't know what's happening. And that is where a lot of people turn around and they go back the other way. They go back to the comfort light, not knowing that if they push through, you'll eventually start to see another light. And that's the new world. That's where all your goals, your aspirations, that's where everything you want in your life is. Eventually you start to see that, and when you reach that light, there's a whole new world on the other side. And that's a light that like almost nobody sees. The darkness is kind of where I've been at lately in my life, and it is one of the most brutal, lonely things I've ever done in my entire life. And I don't want this to sound like it comes from like a place of ego, because it's not about that. It's not about like leaving your friends behind and leaving your family behind or kicking them out of your life. It's not about that. It's just you're on your path and they might not be on the same path as you. And that's okay. That doesn't mean you have to completely kick them out of your life. It's just you start to feel different than them. I remember a couple weeks ago, and I think I mentioned this on the podcast already, I was at a bachelor party and I have a really heavy day of calls on Saturday. You know, I have my team call, I talk to a client of mine, I talk to my therapist, I have like 6 or 7 calls on Saturday. And I told my friend, and I was standing up in his wedding, I was like, dude, I have to take these calls. I can't miss them. I'll meet up with you guys later. And that's when I started to realize that, like, oh, I am in a different place than my friends right now. And they have, like, their goals and aspirations, and they're doing their own thing, but I'm also doing my own thing. And I don't know if they're really the best for my future right now. And that is one of the hardest realizations I've ever had to come to. But I think it's part of the growth journey, and it's something that every single person's going to deal with when they get on a path of success or trying to reach their goals and aspirations. You're gonna get to a point where you're gonna have to let go of some of your old rooms, some of your old ideas and in places and habits, and things are just going to change in your life, and you're going to get into that lonely land state, and it's going to be brutal. It is what it is, and it's all I can say is if you keep going the other side, you have to trust that the other side is going to be greater. Right now we're reading a book in book club. Book club is on Saturdays at 12:30. If any of you are interested in doing book club, it is basically a group discussion on the principles of whatever book we choose. It's not like us reading to each other. We just have a group discussion about the value that's in the book. And it's just an amazing place, amazing space to connect with like-minded people if you're into personal development or you're trying to reach a certain goal and you want a community around you who can support you and help you reach that goal. Amazing place. But we're reading the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth right now. And the last chapter we read was the law of your environment. And it was a big mirror, because in that chapter he basically goes through this checklist of questions to ask yourself about the people who are in your life. And you really start to realize that maybe some of the people that you love the most aren't the best for your growth in your future right now. And it's one of the hardest truths that you're going to have to deal with. When I was reading this chapter, I started to think about some of the rooms I've been putting myself in lately. And it's not that these people that I'm choosing to spend time with are bad people. It's just not the best for my future and my goals. So that was a big mirror for me. And you just find yourself in this place where you feel like you have no one around you who understands you, and it's just a painful place to be. So if you are in that spot right now of lonely land, I just want you to know that I'm with you. It sucks, and I'm looking to connect with people who want to grow and change their life for the better. You know, we talk about, there's this whole thing, like this YOLO attitude with people who are in their young 20s. I'm playing for pay now, struggle now, and play later. That's the game that I want to play. I want to love the game more than the trophy. Most people are living pleasure-centered lives right now, and I just don't want to fit in those rooms anymore. I want to reach my goals and aspirations, and in order to do that, I'm going to have to grow and suffer now so I can enjoy the benefits later. And that's just a very hard truth that I've had to learn. But the point of all this is that you're going to reach a point where you feel alone. You're going to reach a point where you want to go back. And that's just not an option anymore. You have to make that not an option. Both sides are going to be painful. It was very, very painful when I felt like I had no direction and my life was centered around drinking and smoking weed and being a degenerate. That was very painful. What the path I'm on right now is also very painful, if not more painful, because I'm facing a lot of mirrors and I'm facing a lot of truths. I trust that the future I'm headed towards is going to be worth it. If any of you are in this place, please feel free to reach out to me. You can find me on B_low22 on Instagram. This is a place where a lot of people turn back, and I want to make sure that you keep moving forward. If you enjoyed this episode, please reach out to me and let's connect. Let's create a community where we have like accountability partners and we have a safe space to talk about our dreams and aspirations, and we can all support each other and achieve them together. That's the point of this show. We want to design our life. Decide what the future you want is and design it. That's the point of the show. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I will see you on the next one.